Well, this fucking sucks. If you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume you already know who Death Grips are. But for a quick 10-second summary, if you don't know who they are, Death Grips is a legendary experimental hip-hop group out of California. One of the most legendary, most impactful bands or groups to come out of the genre in the past 10 to 15 years. And honestly, I thought there was about to be a resurgence with the band. I know that they've gotten a lot of new fans over the past 5 years. Unfortunately, due to TikTok, which we will get into.
Raising up my baby girl, popping up the custard, not phantom text, the sigma glue.
But it has been 6 years since their past record, Year of the Snitch, which I thought was a great record. But that is weird for them because usually they have a pretty consistent output. They did put out some random stuff semi-recently, some instrumentals, some previously unreleased music, and I think they even did a tour back in 2023, which might have not really been a full tour. It might have just been a few shows that they announced, but they showed up to the shows and the shows went great. Everything went down without a hitch, you feel me? All that and more kind of led me to believe that we might actually even be getting a record soon, even though they haven't really been online, no meme. And I actually never got the chance to see them live, which is really disappointing. But like I was saying earlier, a lot of their more recent fan base and the crowds that those fan bases made up were basically unbearable. They were literally like pissing on the floor and throwing shit, like so unbearable that the band just walked off for a few shows. I think most of the recent fan base being unbearable and annoying is exemplified in the fact that all of this is happening because of leaked DMs that were posted on Reddit. Definitely obnoxious behavior. Definitely attention-seeking behavior. Apparently Andy, who makes up 1/3 of the band, was collabing with a fan on something. He just ended up giving up the sauce. But he never even fully confirmed that the band was actually disbanding. Like, this has happened before. And it's always kind of been like that. They've always kind of had this mystery, this ethos surrounding them as a band, which honestly makes the fan leaking these DMs even more obnoxious in a way. Like, can fan bases just be normal again? Please? I just feel like with stan culture and online culture, it's just getting so crazy. Pulling stunts like this just pushes the band further away, pushes them more towards not wanting to be online. Now, to be fair, most of the fan base did end up calling this nigga out, did call out this fan for leaking these DMs and for being attention seeking as fuck. But in regards to Death Grips breaking up, I feel like this is more of just a Death Grips is not online right now. And that's okay. They're all hella busy with their own lives. They got their own side projects. They got their own separate passions that I'm sure they're very excited to work on, that I'm sure they've been working on for the past few years. Death Grips in general has done so much musically and has influenced so much, has such a large impact on the general scope of experimental music, experimental hip hop as a whole, that it kind of makes sense that they would want to take a break. And if you're truly a fan, I feel like all this shit going on right now to you would just be extra corny, because for me personally, no Death Grips is definitely better than mid Death Grips. I would much rather have them take their time off. If they're not working on a record right now, that's cool. And if they want to come out with a record like 5-10 years from now, there are so many bands that have taken 10 to 15 year hiatuses and have come back with a fucking banger for their fan base. And even if they don't do that, I also think that's cool. I highly recommend just celebrating what they gave us, what they've done, just listening to their discography and remembering all the crazy shit that they put out. I'm not saying that as a fan of the band you have to just move on right now and pretend that they never gonna release music ever again, but I do think that this parasocial type of behavior does come off hella desperate, hella weird, and like I said earlier, definitely doesn't make them want to put out more shit right now.
So for every sheltered cracker on 4chan who's comparing me to MC Ride, you Death Grips fans piss me the fuck off. All you niggas listen to is these pitchfork co-signed bands like Animal Collective and Real Estate, and they all look like the same person. How the fuck do I look like MC Ride? Like, come on, yo. Like, really? That shit is racist. It's bullshit.
Death Grips as a band means so much to me personally. I remember discovering them for the first time when I was 15, and I would see pictures of the Money Store album cover on Tumblr, and I had no idea what it was at the time. And then when I finally ended up discovering their music, it actually ended up being the only thing at that time when I was 15, that was experimental enough, that was weird enough, but also still like every song was a banger, really encouraged me to stay weird with my art and with my music, and showed me that something like this, something this experimental, can be quote unquote mainstream. I know they're not necessarily mainstream, but their fan base is massive, no meme. And their fan base did get even more massive over COVID with TikTok and everything like that. All their songs like Guillotine and Get Got, and I've seen footage going viral on TikTok, which I think unfortunately introduced their music to this entire subculture of their fan base that I think does take up a vast majority of the unbearable, annoying, parasocial, weird, cringy, and I hate using that word cringy, but it really is the only way to describe what they be doing at these shows, man. Like I said, I've never gotten the opportunity to see Death Grips, but in a way, I kind of see that as more of a blessing, because if I paid money to go see one of my favorite bands of all time, and some niggas started pissing on the floor and ruining it for everyone, I'm getting kicked out that fucking venue, I swear to God. And I do think certain funny, almost like wholesome behavior at shows can be great, can be fun. Like when I saw 100 Gex with Machine Girl, there were people playing Animal Crossing on their 3DS in the pit, or holding up signs that just said feet. Like that shit is kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? They're not really causing any issues or ruining the show for anyone else around them. They just having fun. But it's like Death Grips fans are like the exact opposite, and 80% of them are belligerently drunk at the show to begin with. So it's just crazy. Like I said, the band has ended up walking out a bunch of times. It's bad news.
And this was my first experience ever seeing Death Grips live. And there was a guy in front of me that was 6'4", and he was clearly off his face on coke. And you know, he was looking around doing the loose jaw thing that coke heads do for some reason. And keep in mind, he was completely off his rocker. This was the pre-show.
But I know that there are also a lot of people out there that have had very positive experiences at a Death Grip show. I'm not saying that you can't have a positive experience at a Death Grip show. Obviously, like I've said numerous times, I never even got the chance to see them. I'm just mentioning why they might be wanting to stay away from the internet right now. But that's just my general thoughts on the whole situation. Death Grips means so much to me, genuinely, as a band. Their music has gotten me through so much and has influenced me and impacted me so much. I do really hope that they end up making a return, but if they don't, that's okay too, bro. Death Grips is not online right now, and that's just fine. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this whole situation. I know you will. If you like the video, make sure you actually like the video and hit the sub button and the bell so you don't miss anything. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you. Fuck off.
Anytime you meet her, she come through. Turn on the lights. I'm looking for her. I'm looking for her. I'm looking for her. I'm looking